before we look at our top stories tonight, let's take you there and listen in to what the president is telling the country.
And looking for places to store them. It is an encouraging development that citizens are part of the solution and they are participating in the evacuation and relocation efforts. Further, the government appreciates the goodwill demonstrated by thousands of individuals and institutions, volunteers, and others who have made tremendous input into alleviating the suffering and pain by those affected by the prevailing crisis. In the same spirit, the public is called upon to respect and adhere to safety alerts and interventions and to cease and desist from risking their lives or the lives of others by daring the force of nature. Kenyans must avoid endangering their lives by recklessly attempting to cross flooded rivers or drive on waterlogged roads. I extend my gratitude to the media for their commitment to contribute airtime worth Kenya shillings 100 million to support response to this crisis. The measures we are taking at present are aimed at responding to the current crisis in the immediate and the short term. For us to comprehensively address such a threat in the long term, we have to acknowledge and act to reverse the adverse effects of climate change. Climatic changes and political uncertainty loomed large. Global conflict by change and until we restore our degraded ecosystems, including forests, rivers, and wetlands. We must therefore remain committed to confront this existential challenge and do it head-on. It is imperative at the year's onset for us to prioritize environmental conservation efforts and implement aggressive reforestation and wetland restoration programs. Scientific evidence indicates that restoring our natural habitats is our best defense against escalating weather extremes. To this end, I urge you, fellow citizens, to sustain and intensify your positive response to the ecosystem restoration agenda, which aims to grow 15 billion trees nationwide within the next 10 years. This year's program on climate action agenda will be made public in the coming days. The Ministry of Environment and Climate Change and Forestry is hereby directed to immediately expedite the implementation of the ecosystem restoration program and work with all ministries, departments and agencies and other stakeholders to provide a whole of government, whole of society, whole of nation program. In the face of daunting challenges, immense threats, and unprecedented hazards, our nation has never faltered. The people of Kenya always stand with one another and work together to overcome adversity. We are called upon once again to join hands in this critical juncture and support each other until this season passes, and afterwards in all endeavors to secure a sustainable future for generations to come. Together, we will win the war against climate change, and also we will build. Under the difficult conditions we all faced, caused much discomfort and sometimes a lot of contention. At the heart,
unafanya vipaya kwa naku. Uweze leta mtoto kwa paa, alafu una expect sisi tumutumie
yani,
au namna gani?
Na kwa umeleza mahakama nilikupatia kobole, si ndio?
Si ndio, shilingi 5.
Na ndio ukakasirika. Ulikuweko nikinunua.
Niliarifiwa na mapolisi.
No, kwa hivyo usaidi yako ni yes, si ndio? You know, uliona sababu yeye ni mrembo, you confuse me unza kunipeleka namna hii. Mimi mwanaume mmoja ambaye uwezani na yeye. Mtoto alikuwa ni yako ama ni yangu?
Mtoto ni ya community.
Ati
community.
Mtoto ya
community.
Shut up. That is mtoto wangu utakuwa ya community namna gani?
Kumbafu zako hata wewe.
Wewe. Hivyo usianze kumfokea hapo.
Yes, usinifokee.
Umemaliza maswali?
Usinifokee. Mimi si papa yako.
Wewe.
Hata si baba, kwani wewe ni baba?
Acha wewe toka sasa.
Ni sawa.
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we have to
do it twice.
Thank you for joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com. A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
Huyu ni mume wangu, John Dennis. Yeye na mimi tulihusika katika ajali ya barabarani. Ninachokumbuka ni kusikia breki na mgongano. Mume wangu alikuwa kwenye sakafu ya matatu huku mkono mmoja ukining'inia kwenye kiti kimoja na alikuwa amepoteza fahamu. Hivyo nilijaribu kumuita na kumgonga mpaka akazinduka. Basi alipoamka aliniambia sisikii miguu yangu. Daktari Okanga aliingia na kutukusanya chumbani na akatuambia Dennis hataweza kutembea tena. Ilinivunja moyo kwa sababu amekuwa mume wangu kwa miaka kama 12. Kisaikolojia siko sawa. Nafanyiwa ushauri. Kuwa mlezi mkuu si rahisi. Punguza mwendo. Mwendo kasi unaua.
Dynamic and rapidly modernizing economy, ensuring it remains efficient and competitive. Institutional improvements and incentives are attracting investors to our land, driving industrialization, expanding manufacturing, and enhancing our export capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, the houses, the affordable houses, are finally here. Our affordable housing program now includes 873,000 houses in its pipeline at various stages of development across different parts of the country. Among these, the inaugural 8,000 units are nearing readiness for handover and occupation. This program alone has contributed 200,000 jobs to the 1 million new jobs created through intentional, consistent, and strategic efforts. To ensure young people have opportunities to actualize their talents, apply their skills, and drive economic growth, we have pursued every promising intervention, from the National Urban Climate Resilience Program, also known as Climate Works, to over 10 labor mobility agreements that provide qualified citizens with access to employment opportunities abroad. We have utilized every available mechanism to support our young people's aspirations. We have also made undeniable progress in securing the nation. Consistent investment in expanding capabilities of our security services, equipping them with efficient, modern tools, and empowering them through technology has significantly enhanced our capacity to combat crime and ensure public safety. The strides we have made against terrorism, banditry, cattle rustling, cybercrime, and other offenses will not only be sustained, but will continue to be enhanced going into the future. It is important to acknowledge that in the process of securing the nation, our security services often interact with citizens exercising their democratic freedoms and fundamental rights. They must continuously strike a delicate balance between delivering robust security responses and enabling the enjoyment of these rights and freedoms. In situations involving serious threats to public order, human life, and safety, this balance can be particularly challenging. And knowing this, criminal elements often seek to exploit protests and demonstrations to further their schemes. It cannot be denied, ladies and gentlemen, that there has been instances of excessive and extrajudicial actions by members of the security services. At the same time, it must also be acknowledged that due process is underway in appropriate institutions to ensure accountability. That said, it is crucial to remember that every freedom has its limits, and that public safety and order must always supersede the desire of unchecked liberty. We must ensure that our pursuit of rights and freedoms does not compromise our collective or individual safety, nor should we allow criminals to exploit constitutional rights to harm and destroy other people. In the spirit of fostering a candid national conversation, I urge every critical stakeholder to reflect deeply on the failures that have led people to adopt radical, individualistic, and self-centered interpretations of rights and freedoms, interpretations that often seem fundamentally opposed to the rights of others and the collective good of citizens. This tendency to promote a definition of rights and freedoms that undermine democracy and the public interest reflect a broader collapse of our value system and a serious strain on our moral fabric. I also believe that this disregard for moral values, including compassion, responsibility, and decency, contributes to violent crimes, such as what we have seen with femicide, perpetrated by men against women who would otherwise they would be loving. These are clear signals that our moral fabric is at risk of decay, exacerbated by various factors, including the manipulation of digital technology, particularly social media, to amplify antisocial behavior and erode moral values. The maintenance of our social fabric and the promotion of a strong value system is a collective responsibility we cannot run away from. This task has always required and will continue to require the involvement of a wider spectrum of society, agencies, and institutions, with a family unit being the most critical. The broader community, faith-based organizations, the education system, the law and order institution exist to support and complement the family's fundamental role in nurturing compassionate, responsible citizens who are empowered to propel our nation into the future. As a society, we have a legitimate expectation that the next generation, benefiting from the accumulation of socio-economic, scientific, and technological advancement, will bring greater energy, better ideas, clearer vision, and a stronger commitment to our shared values. We should be humane, we should be responsible, and well-grounded citizens whose actions promote unity, patriotism, democracy, and the rule of law, and our rights and freedoms, rather than sabotaging them. I have previously extended an invitation to all stakeholders in their diversity to join the national conversation and explore the best ways to implement an all-of-society strategy and approach to counter moral decay and reset our nation's moral compass. As parents, myself included, we must never walk away from our children nor abandon them to the vagaries of our time. This is necessary. This is essential, as all the transformations we are undertaking today will mean little if our young people are left without sound guidance, moral mentorship, and ethical support. The broad-based bipartisan national conversation we are having with leaders from various political formations seeks to extend the principle of inclusiveness to its widest possible reach without compromising the fundamental values of competitive democracy and diversity in viewpoints. Our goal is to enhance, not diminish, our identity as a free, open, democratic society founded on constitutionalism and the rule of law. We are making meaningful progress, which, if sustained, will establish us as a mature democracy, firmly anchored in a sustainable political culture. In 2024, our nation faced serious challenges and great difficulties. Yet, we did more than endure. We stood together in unity, worked with determination, and overcame all the obstacles. Because we are Kenyans, an indomitable, courageous, and enterprising people, unafraid of hard work, because we are resilient champions who strive to win and face every challenge with dedication and stamina, we achieved progress despite significant difficulties. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have succeeded in laying a solid foundation for even faster progress in the coming year. The Kenyan shilling, which began the year on a subdued note, has appreciated significantly, strengthening from Kenya shillings 165 to the dollar in February 2024 to Kenya shillings 129 to the dollar today, making the Kenya shilling one of the world's best performing currencies. Inflation, a key indicator of economic health, has fallen from 9.6% in September 2022 to 2.7% in October 2024, the lowest level in nearly 2 decades. Meanwhile, foreign exchange reserves have surged by $2.4 billion to reach $9.5 billion, providing 5 months of import cover and insulating our economy from external shocks. Our economy continues to outpace global trends, growing at 5.6% in 2023, positioning us among the world's fastest growing economies. In light of the outcome of our collective determination and efforts, we have every reason to approach the new year, with optimism and a renewed commitment, not only to work harder and achieve greater progress, but also to transform ourselves and turn every challenge into an opportunity to do more and to do so better. In 2025, the seeds we have patiently and carefully planted will continue to germinate and grow. The progress we have made has set us firmly on the path of rapid and sustainable growth. As a result, we can anticipate stronger economic performance, more jobs for our young people, and higher incomes for our farmers and entrepreneurs. Additionally, we expect that in 2025, more investments will mature, leading to a considerable expansion of our manufacturing sector and an increase in our exports. The reforms we have implemented in both basic and higher education will also come to fruition, providing new momentum and focus for the entire education sector in 2025. Additionally, Taifa Care will approach optimal performance, offering significant relief to households by reducing the burden of healthcare costs and delivering enhanced benefits through an efficient, inclusive, and high-quality public healthcare system. As we speak, subsidized fertilizer is already in stores waiting for farmers. As you all know, in the past, farmers used to wait for fertilizer. This year, fertilizer is waiting for farmers in the stores. Next year, we plan to achieve higher yields from every crop, ensuring even greater rewards for our hardworking farmers and food security for all Kenyans. Additionally, we aim to free our livestock from deadly infectious diseases, alleviating the fears of pastoralists and stock keepers from devastating outbreaks. This is why the nationwide livestock vaccination campaign will be a game changer. Unlike segmented vaccination efforts that left some areas unprotected and vulnerable to outbreaks, thereby risking reinfection in vaccinated regions, this voluntary, comprehensive approach will eradicate these threats comprehensively once and for all. Mark my words, I said voluntary. In 2025, we will be busier at school and at work, better nourished, safer, more secure, and with more money in our pockets. We will hold productive national conversations to empower our young people as responsible custodians of our shared aspirations and to solidify our state as a robust and secure democracy. We will continue to work hard and deliver greater progress, becoming better equipped to tackle our challenges. In 2025, I will have the honor of handing over the first keys to completed affordable housing units to hardworking men and women from all walks of life. At last, the transformation you entrusted us to lead will take tangible shape, and the fruits of our collective labor will be undeniable. We will continue to work for you and to deliver for you. Let us therefore submit our hopes and aspirations to the Almighty God of all creation, so that together, in unity and with shared determination, we may embrace the new year and work towards achieving the Kenya we all want, which is now well within sight. Thank you very much. May God bless our great country, Kenya. May God bless you all. Happy New Year. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.
They are giving his New Year address from Kisii State Lodge, touching on a number of things. The president there speaking about that collective responsibility that Kenyans should have as we navigate this rainy season. He urged Kenyans to, respect those safety alerts that are sent out from time to time, and went ahead to warn about those crossing flooded rivers, saying that puts unnecessary risks on the lives of Kenyans. On the healthcare, the president spoke about community health workers having been deployed to the grassroots to ensure that medical services are available to all and sundry. On the Hustler Fund, he touched a little bit on how it continues to empower the youth, creating opportunities and even going a step ahead and nurturing those talents and aspirations that the younger demographic have. On education, of course, he spoke about the commitment to make higher learning all more inclusive, ensuring that his government will put a framework in place that nobody is left behind. The president also touched a little bit on foreign direct investments, saying that those were the key economic drivers for growth that then create job opportunities for Kenyans. On affordable housing, the president also spoke about those milestones that have been achieved so far. He gave some numbers: 873,000 houses were planned for the first 8,000 houses nearing completion, and that project has been able to generate almost close to 250,000 jobs in the country. Of course, on security, the president emphasizing that the government remains steadfast on ensuring that Kenya is safe and secure. He also spoke about the need for security agencies to have that balance between providing protection to the citizens of this country and also ensuring that they are alive to those human rights. He put the overzealous police officers on notice, telling them to stop engaging in extrajudicial excesses. Of course, there's a lot that the president said. We will be compiling all that and making sure that we break it down for you in our subsequent bulletins. But I'm advised that we take a break.
Hii ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa. Kwani hii Kristi ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1. Rudia. Star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 inch TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings.
Mbuzi moja?
Na mbuzi 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra.
Mbuzi moja?
Iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max.
Mbuzi mbili.
Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao. Nani kubwa hapa kuna ndogo ndogo. Hapa Christmas ni bomba.
Napenda kutumia nafasi hii baada ya kuzungumza nawe kuwatakia Wakenya wote heri na fanaka za Krismasi, na pia tunawatakia mwaka mwema wa 2025, mwaka ambao utakuwa na umaarufu mwingi kwao na kwa jamii zao. Asante sana.
Welcome back. After taking you straight to Kisii State Lodge, where the president gave his New Year message, let's now bring you back to the studio. My name is Mboya, and we are so grateful that you made our channel your channel of choice. My sign language interpreter tonight is Byron Abule. Let's now look at the news proper. The Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, risks facing contempt of court charges following his failure to obey court orders requiring him to produce 6 allegedly abducted persons. High Court Judge Bahati Mboya says that the Inspector General and 8 other respondents have until Monday of next week to file their responses in court within the matter set for hearing on Wednesday, the 8th of January 2025. And as John Jacob Curia reports, it was an emotional moment in court as one of the abductees' parents, Gerald Mwangi Karicha, pleaded for the release of his son, Billy Mwangi. Here is that report.
The habeas corpus orders essentially require a person deemed to be in legal custody to be produced in court, dead or alive. George Mwangi Karicha traveled from Embu County to the Milimani High Court in Nairobi, hoping to reunite with his son, Billy Mwangi, who has been missing since the 21st of December 2024. An emotional Mwangi narrated the circumstances under which his son was allegedly abducted, detailing the particulars of the vehicles in which Billy was bundled into.
There came 2 cars. Yes. One of the cars was Hilda car, white in color, the new model. Yes. Registration number KDG 527D.
With his hopes dashed, Mwangi pleaded with the court to enforce its orders on the production of Billy and 5 other abductees.
My wife has collapsed. She has collapsed so many times. Yes. I did not come with the hand because I cannot be able to handle it. So when I look around the courtyard, I cannot see my son. I thought he is here. Seriously, who took my son and where is my son?
The Inspector General of Police is once again in the crosshairs of the courts, accused of blatant disobedience of the orders issued by Judge Bahati Mwamuye.
I want to give the respondents enough time for them to comprehensively deal with this question. I get the feeling, I have a sense that this petition and this application will guide this nation forward in how we deal with this question of what is colloquially being called abductions.
The Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja, who is named as a respondent alongside his office, failed to appear before court, instead sending his legal representative Paul Nyamodi and the Nairobi Regional Criminal Investigations Head Bernard Kasioki.
I have had an opportunity to have a look at the miscellaneous application pending before your brother, Justice Mutete. Yes. And I wish to state that that is the proper way of commencing a habeas corpus.
The petitioners, represented by NAK Kenya Party leader Martha Karua and Wiper Democratic Movement Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka.
When the court orders for the production, the writ is not spent. It is for whoever is holding to come and tell the court, yes, we have the person, or no, we don't have the person, and explain.
You issued specific orders yesterday. Non-compliance should be met with penal consequences.
While Judge Mwamuye appeared to hand the IG and the other respondents an olive branch, he warned that the commencement of hearings on Wednesday next week will bear grave consequences if the orders issued on Monday for the production of the abductees are not obeyed.
State officers have an obligation, pursuant to their oaths of office, pursuant to the expectations of the Constitution, and also there is a consequence of contempt of court. This court will not hesitate next week if these persons are not brought before this court or have not already been brought to cite.
Kanja, his office, the Attorney General, the National Intelligence Service, the Cabinet Secretary Interior and the Director of Public Prosecutions and the other parties, including petitioners and interested parties, have until Monday the 6th of January 2025 to file their responses, while those intending to file rejoinders have until Tuesday the 7th of January 2025, a day before the hearing kicks off. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
Of course, we'll be tracking that story for you. What are your thoughts about some of the stories that we are covering for you? Speak to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X as well. Now, moving on, Busia Senator Okiya Omtata and 22 other individuals who were arrested in Nairobi, Kenya during the anti-abduction protests on Monday have been released on a cash bail of 1,000 shillings or 50,000 shillings bond each with surety. The protesters were arraigned before Milimani Principal Magistrate Rose Ndombi and charged with unlawfully assembly 13 individuals who were apprehended during similar protests in Mombasa also appeared in court charged with unlawful assembly. Here is that report.
Milimani Principal Magistrate Rose Ndombi dismissed an application by police to extend the detention of Busia Senator Okiya Omtata and 22 other protesters by 14 days to allow further investigations. The principal magistrate thereby released the 23 individuals on 50,000 shillings bond with surety or cash bail of 1,000 shillings each, applying for extended detention of Busia Senator Okiya Omtata and the 22 other individuals. The prosecution said the suspects are being investigated for several offences, including incitement to violence, disobedience of the law, and creating a disturbance likely to cause a breach of peace. The prosecution requested for 14 more days to allow investigators to extract WhatsApp messages from the mobile phones of the 23 individuals arrested yesterday during the anti-abduction protests. The application was, however, opposed by defense lawyers led by Kalonzo Musyoka and Martha Karua, who urged the court to release the 23 individuals on bond. In Mombasa County, 13 individuals were apprehended during the anti-abduction protests in Mombasa on Monday, were arraigned at the Mombasa Law Court and charged with unlawful assembly. They denied the charges and were released on a cash bail of 5,000 shillings with one surety each. The case will be mentioned on 12th of February 2025. Yeshuk Washira, Prime Edition.
An aged man died and 2 other people sustained serious injuries after falling from the 19th floor of a building under construction in Eastleigh. An eyewitness said that the deceased allegedly slid from one of the ladders. Residents raised concerns that such incidents are increasing in the area and urged government to oversee the safety of construction workers.
It was a sad afternoon for business people and residents of Eastleigh in Nairobi County after a middle-aged man died and 2 men sustained serious injuries after falling from the 19th floor of this building under construction.
Kufika hapa mmoja akawa amefika kwa barabara. Sasa wakati alifika kwa barabara, hao wengine nao wakawa wamemfuata kutoka juu. Wakawa nao mmoja akakuja akagonga hapa kwa gari. Huyo mwingine naye akamfuata tena akagonga chini. Huyo mmoja mwenye wakati alifika chini alikuwa amekufa tayari. Wa pili na watatu wakachukuliwa wakapelekwa hospitali.
According to an eyewitness, the three Masons were on their normal duty when the tragedy struck.
Hiyo ni kama mti ilikuwa imepigiliwa vibaya, mwenzetu mmoja akawa amekanyanga, hiyo mti ikawa imeteleza. Kutokana hao wengine nao wakienda kusaidia ule, nao wakawa ile mti walikuwa wamekanyanga nawe ikateremka naye, wakateremka wote watatu.
Residents have appealed to the government to oversee construction sites and ensure they adhere to construction safety rules.
Inatia wasiwasi juu at the end of the day umetarajia kwamba mzee wako anarudi kwa nyumba na mtakuwa na wakati mwema na mzee na watoto wafurahie, lakini kitu kama hii sasa unaona imeleta shida sana. So mimi kitu naweza sema kwamba serikali pia ingilie kama kunaweza kuwa na hiyo mafundisho mzuri.
The body was moved to the mortuary pending investigations.
Star 570 hash. Option 1 kuna PS5 na ni full package na inakuja na JBL Party Box. Hiyo boom experience pia iko.
This is my husband. It's John Dennis. Him and I were involved in a road traffic accident. All I remember is hearing brakes and a crash. My husband was on the floor of the matatu with one hand hanging to one seat and he was unconscious. So I tried calling him and hitting him until he woke up. So when he woke up, he told me, I can't feel my legs. The doctor came in, Dr. Okanga, and he told us Dennis will never be able to walk again. It broke me because he's been my husband for 12 years. Psychologically, I am not fine. I'm doing counseling. Being a primary caregiver is not easy.
Slow down. Speeding ruins lives.
Napenda kutumia nafasi hii baada ya kuzungumza nawe kuwatakia Wakenya wote heri na fanaka za Krismasi, na pia tunawatakia mwaka mwema wa 2025, mwaka ambao utakuwa na umaarufu mwingi kwao na kwa jamii zao. Asante sana.
Welcome back. As Kenya and many African nations prepare to usher in the new year 2025, various countries across the globe have already welcomed the new year with celebrations and festivities. The Pacific Island nations of Kiribati had their first taste of the new year at around 1 p.m. East African time. New Zealand later on joined the celebrations with Auckland's iconic Sky Tower lighting up with a stunning display of fireworks. John Kahiro paints a picture of just how various countries welcomed the new year.
As the clock ticks towards a new month and a new year in this part of the world, some countries elsewhere have already welcomed the year 2025 with celebrations and festivities. The first to usher in 2025 were the Pacific Island nations of Kiribati and Samoa, along the parts of Tonga, who celebrated at 1 p.m. East African time. Approximately an hour later, New Zealand will join the celebrations as citizens welcomed 2025 with dazzling firework displays over the famous Auckland Sky Tower and the waterfront, a symbolic act of bidding farewell to the year 2024. Later, Australia boarded the global New Year's train, with Sydney's iconic Harbour Bridge and Opera House lighting up the night sky in an eye-catching fireworks display, which brought on board millions of citizens in a show of unity and hope for a fruitful year ahead. Kenya and other African nations, however, will have to wait for about 3 hours as they prepare to ring in the new year and mark the transition into 2025. John Kahiro, Prime Edition.
Well, the president, during his remarks earlier on from Kisii State Lodge, spoke about how the Taifa Care will greatly reduce the burden of healthcare in this country. But I think it's teething problems in the shift to the SHA may have perhaps been the highlights of the year that was in the health sector. That journey from the defunct National Health Insurance Fund, or NHIF if you like, remains challenging for many, though the government insists that all is well. The health docket also had 2 cabinet secretaries in 2024. Here now is a look at the hits and the misses in Kenya's march to the universal healthcare coverage in 2024.
October 1st, 2024 marked a new dawn as Kenya officially transitioned from the National Health Insurance Fund to the Social Health Authority, now referred to as Taifa Care. The transition came amid opposition, with some quarters arguing it was rushed, while the government maintained it was all systems go. After its launch, confusion was witnessed in various health facilities in the country, with patients seeking services stranded. While some were unaware of the transition, others had not registered and had to be turned away.
Tulikuja tu tukapata mambo ilibadilika. Hatukuwa tunajua.
Lakini niliambiwa wewe huwezi kupata matibabu leo, itabidi ulipe cash.
The requirement to first seek services at level 2 and 3 facilities before being referred to higher levels also raised an uproar.
If a patient lives, is a neighbor to the level 4, why should you force a patient to go 10 mileage to seek a referral from a level 3 and a level 2 to come to level 5? Meaning you are denying that patient accessibility to service, delaying intervention.
However, the government maintains that Taifa Care is the only way to ensure Kenyans access care regardless of the economic background. 2024 also saw Kenya report the monkeypox outbreak, with the number of those infected standing at 31, with 1 fatality recorded. The Ministry of Health took up the matter, heightening surveillance, while at the same time calling on the public to adhere to preventive measures, such as avoiding close contact with those infected and their belongings, regular hand washing with soap and water, minimizing sexual partners, among others. The ministry says that efforts are ongoing to secure a vaccine for the country.
And that is to protect the healthcare workers, the contacts of positive cases, truck drivers and commercial sex workers. It is important that they get vaccinated. And we are in the final stages of deliberating around the same, so that we can see whether we can get a few doses that can be used for the country.
The Minister of Health was also put on the spot over a recent polio vaccination campaign, with the public expressing concern after some adverse effects were reported. The adverse effects put in the government on the spot over the safety of the vaccines used in the country.
I want to assure the public, any vaccine that is given to your children is okay. However, polio vaccine sometimes can react to
a child, depending from one child to the other. Even you as a grown-up, there are some medication that may react to you, but that does not cause alarm. You should rush the child to a health facility to be checked further.
Following the expiration of the Medical Equipment Service Program in December 2023, which was embroiled in a 63 billion shillings lease scandal, a transition strategy was developed to maintain and enhance its gains. Under the new scheme, the National Equipment Service Program, 7 bidders were awarded contracts in October 2024. They are responsible for providing, maintaining, and upgrading equipment at no upfront cost to the counties, with payments made based on services rendered under the fee-for-services FFS model.
What we are really looking into is how we can achieve universal health coverage, affordable, accessible, quality of care to all Kenyans, and this is actually through provision of equipment. These are equipments such as those of dialysis, radiological equipment, maternal, neonatal child health equipment, among others.
However, the leasing scheme contract, which has been signed by the 7 counties, is said to have its pros and cons.
Anybody who says they were forced by the national government to sign whatever contract, those are conmen and they are liars. Because Mungaro is here, Abdul Samad is here, Fatuma is here, they are governors. There is nobody who forced them to sign any contract.
The other notable controversy of the year is the resignation of Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital chairperson Professor Olive Mugenda after the hospital staff boycotted work, demanding her resignation from the facility. Other changes effected at the facility include the disbandment of the entire board. Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital CEO Ahmed Dagane was also directed to proceed on indefinite leave. Dr. Zainab Gura was appointed to replace him in an acting capacity. On the 19th of December, President William Ruto appointed Kembi Gitura as chairperson, Board of Directors of the Level 6 Hospital. Nancy Okware, 2024 in review.
Straight to the day's business. Those seeking information on different subjects should embrace the Yearbook, which is a valuable resource for policymakers, academia, investors as well as citizens. Speaking after releasing the Kenya Yearbook 2024, the Kenya Yearbook Editorial Board Chief Executive Officer Lilian Kimeto said that the Yearbook, which has been told through the lenses of the youth, aims to inspire national pride, promote education, and also to ensure that Kenya's story is preserved for future generations.
The just-released Kenya Yearbook 2024 has been named Alakara, a Turkana word for gratitude, thanksgiving and being hopeful to signify the year 2024. It is also signifying how Turkana County has been highlighted in the book. Kenya Yearbook Editorial Board CEO Lilian Kimeto is rallying Kenyans from all walks of life to embrace the Kenya Yearbook, given its comprehensive information it contains on diverse subjects ranging from governance, economy, culture, education, technology, and environmental sustainability.
The Kenya Yearbook 2024 has been told through the eyes of and lens of our youth, and so it will serve as a very important national resource that reflects our development trajectory.
The Kenya Yearbook deeply contextualizes the soul of the nation, featuring information ranging from Kenya's history, pride of the nation, and the people.
Through the Kenya Yearbook 2024, we seek to inspire national pride, promote education on different areas of our country and sectors, and ensure that Kenya's rich history and story is preserved for our future generations.
Kimeto says yearbooks are a valuable resource for policymakers, academia, investors, and citizens. Alanauko, Prime Edition.
A 50% hike in upcountry fares as families travel to celebrate the Christmas festivities, coupled with the slight increase in some food items, so the rate of inflation marginally increased to 3% in December 2024, up from 2.8% the previous month. The rate of inflation has, in 2024, been within the government's target band of 2.5% to 7.5%.
As has been the tradition in Kenya, there is usually increased travel during the festive season for families to link up with their loved ones to celebrate and make merry together. Latest data from the Kenya Bureau of Statistics indicates that public service vehicles capitalized on increased demand for travel to hike long-distance fares by an average of 50%. This saw the Transport Index record a month-on-month increase of 1.8% in December 2024, the second highest increase in the 13 broad categories after clothing and footwear. The KNBS data indicates that there were notable increases in the retail prices of food items such as maize flour, tomatoes, sugar, beans and sukuma wiki. Despite this, there were price reductions in items such as mangoes, potatoes, cabbages, onions and wheat flour. However, the price reductions were not big enough to offset increases, resulting in an average 0.7% increase in food and non-alcoholic beverages and a 0.1% average rise in alcoholic beverages, tobacco and narcotics. In the non-food items category, there were increases in some retail prices such as electricity and rent, and reductions in the prices of petroleum products such as super petrol, diesel and kerosene.
And in sports, double Olympic champion Beatrice Chebet has shattered the world 5-kilometer record at Barcelona. In Barcelona, beg your pardon. Beatrice clocked 13 minutes, 54 seconds in the World Athletics labeled road race to better her own record by 19 seconds, as well as become the first woman to run a sub 14-minute time for that distance. It's been an outstanding year for the 24-year-old, who's also set a new world record in the 10,000 meter when she timed 28 minutes, 54.14 seconds at the Prefontaine Classic meet. Kenya's tennis star Angela Okutoi was off to a winning start in her doubles defense in the ongoing ITF Women's W35 Tour, where she won her first duel against Kenya's Celine Ahoya and Stacey Yego. It turns out to be a disappointing day for Stacey Yego, who bowed out of the singles despite a spirited fight against Latilia Kaluri of India, who defeated her by 2-0 in their round of 16 match at the Nairobi club. Stacey Yego had progressed to the second round after her opponent, America's Jamal, failed to honor the fixture. Stacey lost the first set 6-3, and despite mounting a strong opposition in the second set, she went down 7-6. Defending champion Angela Okutoi, who's yet to begin her title defense in the singles, partnered with Japan's Higashitani to win their doubles duel 6-2, 6-3 against Stacey Yego and Celine Ahoya. Kenya's Cynthia Wanjala and Ekua Yuri also won their doubles match following their 6-1, 7-6 victory against Canada's Esther Jamshidi and SS Chikalapudi of India. The championship, which has attracted over 20 players, majority of whom are drawn from the African nations, is set to conclude on the 13th of January, with the winner pocketing 3 million Kenya shillings, as well as earning the all-important WTA ranking points. Blueband retained their title in the Ease Akida football tournament held at Mkoroshoni grounds in Kilifi. The Kilifi Elite won the women's title. Young Atomic finished third overall in the men's category.
Blue retained the men's title when they edged out Mekwana 2-1 in the finals, as the Kilifi Elite won the women's title after a 4-2 post-match penalties triumph over Majajani Queens. Young Atomic, on the other hand, clinched the men's third place playoff after they beat home side Ubuntu by a solitary goal. The tournament, which was organized by former Harambee Starlets forward Asia Kida through her foundation, saw the winners walk home with 30,000 Kenya shillings, while the losing finalists won 20,000 shillings. The third place team were rewarded 15,000 shillings.
At least my tournament and many more zenye zimekuwa, na believe ni platform fiti zitagroisha hizi talent for future.
And in Makueni, Songeni Football Club were crowned champions of the 2024 edition of the Festus Musyoka Football Tournament when they beat Kadekani FC by a solitary goal at the San Siro grounds. It was a double triumph for Songeni after their counterparts won the ladies' title via penalty shootout.
Now, what 22 years, you see presidents, leaders.
And in Baringo, Tengesa Football Club won the second edition of the Nawiri tournament after they overcame Tabarin FC 1-0 in Tengesa, Baringo Central. This tournament host, Frederick Kibet, urged the county governments to prioritize the construction of more stadiums while calling on coaches to cast their nets far and wide in their search for untapped talent from the grassroots. The tournament host, Frederick Kibet, urged the county governments to prioritize the construction of more stadiums while calling on coaches to cast their nets far and wide in their search for untapped talent from the grassroots.
Kwa wakati wa public participation, wananchi wahimizwe watenge kiwango fulani ya pesa ili iende kwa mambo ya mipira.
Well, and that does it for the news tonight. It's wraps, and we want to thank you really for staying with us throughout the year 2024. It's been an honor bringing you the stories that matter. And as we usher in the new year, we want to wish you prosperity. We want to wish you peace. We want to wish you happiness. Let's make 2025 even brighter, better, bigger. And from all of us here in the newsroom, especially the Prime Edition team and all those in the back end, may I wish you a happy and prosperous 2025. My name is Mboya. On behalf of Byron Obule, good night, and may God bless you. See you next year.
Hii ishafika na ni kubwa kubwa. Kweli? Hii Kristi ni bomba na Blue Santa kupitia star 570 hash option 1. Rudia. Star 570 hash option 1. Iko PlayStation 5 na 55 inch TV na iko 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Na mbuzi moja? Na mbuzi. 1 million Kenyan shillings na Samsung S24 Ultra. Na mbuzi moja? Iko 2 million Kenyan shillings na iPhone 16 Pro Max. Na mbuzi mbili. Blue Santa amekuja na zawadi kibao. Na ni kubwa kubwa. Hapa kuna ndogo ndogo. Hapa Christmas ni bomba.
Thank you for joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com. A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself. And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition